Welcome to the Stick Niner Empire podcast. I'm Lucas McLaughlin here with Iron Mike Arango and Lucas ORtiz. Fellas, we got a lump of coal in our stockings. Niners drop a big one, which could have been huge. People are saying no more MVP for Brocky. And I'm saying 33-19. It was a really awful loss. And they showed us just how good they are. And they were the better football team out there. Lucas, when you started off, what did you see out there, and are you as devastated as I am about this?
I am, but I'm probably not as devastated for the same reason you guys are. Yeah, it sucks that Brock Purdy probably cost himself the MVP trophy, or the put himself in third place after this game behind Lamar and Christian McCaffrey. But the reason I'm a little more discouraged, yeah, we lost and we got our asses kicked on national television. I didn't
Monday
like the
Night
way
Football
we tackled.
Christmas.
I didn't like the way we tackled, and I didn't like the injuries in the game. I'm kind of worried that we're going to be going into the playoffs with possibly guys with turf toe, guys with banged up knees, guys with concussions. We don't know what the situation with Trent Williams is yet. Like, is it a really bad groin sprain, or is it something that's kind of mild and he can play through? Our offensive line is banged up, and we just released a backup offensive lineman, Matt Pryor, right before the game, so that we can elevate Jason Verrett, who, when he got into the game, gave up, albeit it was a tough touchdown that they scored against us, but it was on him, and he only played 3 plays that game, and one of them was a touchdown. So those are the things that worry me. I don't like the way that I don't like the energy of that game.
I would agree with you in the sense that the energy in the third and fourth quarter was absolutely dreadful. I'm okay with Jason Verrett because, if you got to cover a receiver for 9 seconds, 7.9 seconds, you're going to give up a touchdown. But he was cool. The 2-3 plays before that, he was actually great. A few plays before that. Now, I look at it from the positive standpoint, gentlemen. Yes, I'm disturbed about the loss, but guys, we outscored them in total yards, passing yards, rushing downs, yards per play. We're getting 2 yards over a carry on the running back in the running game. There's no reason for me not to think that we cannot win this game. As far as I'm concerned, sure, I'll give him the credit. I'm going to be honest with you, man. We play this game again, I think we would win this game. That's my opinion.
I like that it started out with a safety. It was sort of encouraging. But then as things progressed, you can't turn over the ball that many times and win a game. I don't care if you're Joe Montana. I don't care if you're Steve Young or Brock Purdy. Some of those throws were ridiculous. And as soon as, and especially against a team like the Ravens, and they showed us that they were the better football team out there. Now, doesn't mean that we can't still get the number 1 seed and be at home for the playoffs and face them in the Super Bowl and beat them. I hope that happens. But I'm saying that they scare me a little bit because they showed us just how good they were, and they were better than what we could do, at least. And we're at home, Christmas. We should have a lot of things in our favor. And I'm concerned too, Lucas.
I'm not worried about Brock Purdy. Every player has a bad game. Everybody has a stinker. I watched the Warriors play about 4 hours earlier, and Steph Curry, the greatest shooter in the history of mankind, had an off night, and it was on national TV. It was a big game. I'm sure he wanted to shine out there, and he just wasn't, he wasn't that good. He was very mediocre, missed a ton of shots. So if Steph Curry can have off nights, Brock Purdy, who's only in his second season, 1.5 as a starter, he's going to have a bad night. If you look at the statistics in his first 19 games compared to all these big-name quarterbacks like Pat Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, he's blown them out of the water. He's like number 1 statistically through his first 19 games as a starter in the NFL. So I'm not worried about him. He's going to bounce back with some fluky interceptions. One of them was a bad decision. He didn't look off a safety and threw it late. One, his arm was hit, and that caused the ball to be intercepted.
Yeah,
and that was a bad
too, though.
Yeah.
That's a bad decision too, because
the one where
his awareness should be there.
He's young.
Well,
he's a young quarterback.
He also should have better protection. I saw that. I rewatched that play.
The guy's right next to him. You gotta
take the
sack.
I rewatched the play. The guy literally just pushed Colt McKivitz out of. I think it was Colt McKivitz. Who was ever at right tackle. I know they did some reshuffling.
Yeah.
He pushed him out of the way, and he was in the backfield in 2 seconds. So his arm was hit, and 2 were deflected up in the air. Like, we had probably 6 deflections in the previous game, and none of them were intercepted. they just, we weren't as fortunate this week. We got unlucky, whereas maybe in the past 4 or 5 weeks on this winning streak, we got pretty lucky not to get a lot of interceptions. Like Brock was almost perfect to those last 6 games that we won in a row. It's just this time the ball didn't bounce our way, and you saw the result. Doesn't mean we couldn't play the Ravens 10 times and beat them 9, which is what my opinion is. I really think we have a much better all-around team. I think we actually have a better quarterback. I wouldn't trade Lamar Jackson for Brock Purdy. I don't know, maybe you guys would. Could just be the homer in me, but I'm not ready to say Lamar Jackson's a better quarterback after this game. He had a better game this game, but look at this season. What has Brock done? Compare the numbers. Exactly. So let's we'll get into
touchdowns for the year. That's nothing.
It goes back to your first point about injuries, right? I mean, the amount of injuries that were liners, and that especially that offensive line, we should get down in the trenches early here because it's a huge part of the reason why they lost. And it's not all Brock Purdy's fault, but let's get down in the trenches with Lucas Ortiz.
Down in the trenches with Lucas Ortiz. Down in the trenches.
So, Lucas, let's talk a little bit about what kind of shuffling we did. We had guys playing way out of position.
Yeah. I mean, we got what's his name? Ben Barch. I can't even remember his name, but he was out there because of injury. Who else? Aaron Banks got hurt, so I think they had to bring in. Yeah, Feliciano was out there, probably playing out of position. I think eventually he was playing right tackle. So Trent Williams, he got hurt on that play where it looked like he took a fumble away. It looked like the guy fumbled on an interception and he took it away and we had it, but they said he was down by contact. And after that, the 49ers didn't bring him back in the game. He said he had a mild strain in his groin, didn't come back in the game, probably wanted to come back in the game. And yeah, we had about 4 guys that were backups on the offensive line. I mean, it was, by then it was Sam Darnold time because it was not a game that you want to put your starting quarterback, your MVP quarterback, back there against a bunch of backups.
Yeah,
and it was a F grade. I thought we had some good runs, but overall the pass protection just wasn't there, guys. There was way too much pressure, way too many batted balls, which are preventable. If its offensive lineman is going up against somebody that jumps up and tries to bat the ball, you're taught to punch that guy right in the stomach with open palms. If you do it right, he'll feel like he'll want to throw up. You can actually hit him in the kidney, just like a boxer would, but it's an open-fisted punch, and he'll never do it again. The other thing you can do is when he jumps up, you can forearm him right in the ribs. It's totally legal. That you won't get a penalty, and he'll never jump up and try to bat the ball again. And I don't know why I don't see guys do that more often. I think we need to start teaching that technique more to the guys on the offensive line. And it just wasn't a good effort. Like too much pressure. Brock didn't have that much time to get rid of the ball, and when he did, he was unfortunately getting balls tipped and throwing interceptions. So
now we do have to say that McCaffrey had 100 yards, over 100 yards on 14 attempts, but still,
a lot of it was on a couple big runs, but
that big touchdown was pretty awesome to watch him get that touchdown because it looked like he wasn't going to take no touchdown for an answer. It's
like taking an SAT score and doing really good in the math and science and doing really bad in the grammar. You gotta be an all around. To get an A+ for me, you're gonna have to be good in the run game and the pass game. You can't just have a nice run attack and then give up sacks and interceptions because of deflections or guys hitting your quarterback's arm. That's not going to cut. That's not going to cut it. It's not going to get a passing grade.
So, Mike Arango, what else did you see problems that arise, and how can we fix this going forward as far as turnovers go, or as far as the offense sputtering out of Lamar Jackson basically having his way with the Niners defense? What else did you see out there?
I mean, I'm probably not as worried as you gentlemen are. The way I see it, man, he threw for less than 300 yards. He didn't go off running. What more could you want? The way I see it, we lost this game. We don't deserve to win this game because we lost this game. Anytime you're going to throw 3 motherfucking picks at the half, you're not going to win anything. It's really hard. And then you throw a pick to start off the second half. We drifted away from the run game with a guy named Christian McCaffrey, who should be the MVP of the year, who ran for like 134 yards and a touchdown, give or take, right? I mean, there's a lot of people to blame, but I'm going to tell you, man, a couple of those interceptions, that first interception by Purdy, not good. You know, that one that he threw to Kittle, yeah, it got tipped. I'm not cutting him any slack on that. I'm very realistic about it. You know,
What's crazy?
that's it.
Go ahead.
Great coverage. The guy was all over him, dude. You don't need to throw that. That pass to Debo, I'm going to say he deserves a minimum of 3 interceptions this game because he probably could have thrown 2 more.
It's interesting that Kittle had a monster game. I mean, we lost
first half.
He
that
had
first catch
huge
was huge. I mean, I thought he was going to score. It looked like he just needed one more block from Brandon Ayuk.
Ayuk had a good game too. He had a big game. I mean, numbers wise, right? These guys all both had. Kittle was 10. He had 126 yards receiving. Ayuk 113. Debo had a kind of a light game for him, 47 yards, but tried to get involved in the run game, but it just wasn't working by that point. And the biggest question I have for both of you guys is what's going on with the Niners being down anything 8 points. They were discussing on some of the other podcasts. If we're down 8 points going into the fourth quarter, we never win. And why is that? And what can Shanahan do? What is he not doing, or what does he need to do to change the fate of the Niners so we can come back from behind more often and have some victories in the fourth quarter when we're down 8 or more points or less?
The short answer is that we have an offense that's built to be in the lead. We're an excellent front running offense. If we have a lead going into the half or the fourth quarter, we usually hold on to that lead.
Yeah.
Like you said, we haven't had a team. I don't think Mike Shanahan's ever had an offense that's really been good at coming from behind, especially late.
But because of that point, he's got to have a reason. He's got to have a bucket of
why, though?
plays that he pulls out when it's getting down.
Dude, we got the best yak players in the league. There's no way you can tell me that we're not built to come from behind. He's
staying in his game plan, which is not made for coming from behind. That's the problem.
That's the problem. Thank you. That's the problem. Thank you.
Did it bother you guys that we were huddling when we were down 21?
Yes. Where's the hurry up offense? No sense of urgency. Yeah.
So we don't have the type of offense where like Peyton Manning goes to the line of scrimmage and does a bunch of hand signals and says Omaha and just like they have like 3 routes and he just picks the team apart and takes it downfield. No huddle. We don't have that offense. Everything is like a 12-word play that has incredible nuance and significance to it. It's a very complicated offense. We don't have the no huddle offense the way some teams do. Not every team does it.
They need to develop that and very quickly then, because how else are we going to win the Super Bowl if we can't come out of those kind of situations and call ourselves the best?
Maybe that'll be part of the progression of Purdy as he gets smarter and he gets more experience at the quarterback position. Maybe he will be the kind of guy that can just, go up to the line of scrimmage, do a couple hand signals, and do the no huddle thing when you're behind and when you need to score fast. Yeah. You are down multiple touchdowns in the second half and you need to come back. Yeah. But when it happens, I'll be the happiest person in the world because it'll break a very long, hard to believe that it's that many games streak.
Now, we did have that come from behind, should have been victory that Moody missed the big game-winning field goal. That's the only time, and that was against a good team. That was a time that he did lead us back.
That was Cleveland, right?
Cleveland, yeah. And that was a big, we should have won that one. But other than that, we got to learn how to get out of that game plan in the fourth quarter if we're down, because we got to shake it up. This isn't working. I don't want to see them lose another game, especially a playoff game, if all of a sudden they try and implement some offense they're not used to running. I would like to see them start running it right away, and do some hurry up offense when you don't even need it in a game, just to see how they do with it.
Kyle Shanahan's been our coach for about 170 games, 170, give or take. He's been behind 30 games out of those 170. Of course, you're not going to have that many comeback victories from behind because we're usually winning in the fourth quarter. With that said, he made a 15-point comeback against the Rams. So I think that's a disgusting stat for people to live off, personally.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Yeah,
I guess I'm saying, to Lucas's point, the way that they run the offense needs to change sometimes so that we can see if they can have a hurry up offense. Because if you're going to call yourself the best, you still have to run with things that are happening in a ball game. And if you're down and there's not a lot of time, you can't just stick to the game plan, Shanahan.
They ran the hurry up offense with that bum Sam Darnold, who showed you exactly what he is. He's a guy that has a great arm. That's going to make great passes to his first read, and after that, there's nothing there.
Mm-hmm. And to your point, Mike, like not a lot of teams are going to be able to, have leads on us. We're very good at taking charge, especially right before halftime and definitely in the third quarter. We usually make great adjustments. It's just we had that bad interception. I mean, what was the score? It was a 2-point game before that third quarter interception.
Come back a little bit, dude.
Yeah,
in the end, it all evens out. Like you look at Andy Reid, like people criticized him because he lost 4 NFC championships in a row, and there were people out there in this world, which I think is beyond ridiculous, getting ready to give up on this man, and they fired him.
Sent him packing.
Don't you think that Philly would rather have Andy Reid right now over Sirianni? Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Halftime, it was still, we felt like we had a chance. It's just I thought that Lamar Jackson looked like the better quarterback in this game, not just because of the turnovers, but because he was able to throw screens and pick apart our defense. And we weren't able to stop them. I mean, it doesn't look like that in the numbers, but when you watch the given play, they were running an offense like we run an offense. And
Lamar took easy passes.
Yeah, he took like
Purdy
nice little,
did not. Purdy went for the
over the middle
pass
passes to people, a little touch on it sometimes, and
that is
felt like that was our game, and they beat us at our own game.
Yeah, Lamar. It seemed like every time we had him in our grasp, he just barely got away, and then once he escaped that first rusher. I think he could have had like about 6 sacks on him, and he's so elusive. He's so hard to bring down. Once he gets in open field, there's he's not going to be stopped until he gets about 10 to 20 yards. So he killed us on the ground. He was able to buy some time and hit some open players. Like Mike said earlier, it's really hard to cover somebody for 9 seconds.
Yeah, I felt so bad for Jason Verrett, just like you guys were talking about.
It's not fair. He played okay for the plays before, guys. He wasn't bad. He was covering.
So as much as everybody's praising Lamar after this game, you can look back in the season and he had games where he had, 2 interceptions, 4 turnovers, fumbled the ball, had no touchdown passes, got sacked 4 times. And everyone's like, what's wrong with Lamar Jackson? Like, why is he not good this year? Like, why is he not at his former MVP level skill anymore? Like, everything is such a quick reaction to every single game.
You're right.
Because there's only 17 of them. Used to be 16, but now there's only 17 games. So every week it's like, oh, this is the best team ever, and the next week it's, oh, this is the worst team ever. Fire the coach. It's like people just need to, remain calm.
We all looked forward to that game as just being like, oh yeah, Christmas. So they're like, just watch this game, and then they just like couldn't do it, and then it got
I actually
worse.
Turned the game off. I was getting so mad. I turned the game off. I turned the game off after Trent Williams got injured, and then I was kind of following on my phone. I was like, oh wait, Sam Darnold's in there, and he just got a touchdown, and then now he's driving them again. So I turn it back on. He gets all the way to the goal line. If we would have scored from the goal line with 2 minutes to go, we would have been down 7.
Onside kick. Yeah.
With 2 minutes, or actually, didn't we have all our timeouts? No, I mean,
the fourth, late in the fourth with a few
it's
minutes
crazy.
Left, we had all our timeouts. There was a chance there, definitely, until this guy threw a pick.
We had a chance,
and we took a little bit too much time off the clock too.
On the goal line with 2 minutes left, with a chance to bring it down to 7.
The problem is nobody gets an onside nowadays.
And do we bring Brock Purdy in, or do we leave Darnold?
That's a tough one.
Leave Darnold. I leave
After
Darnold.
4 picks, I think I leave Darnold, honestly. He's rattled. Purdy was rattled.
It's like, what would have happened? Would we bring in Brock Purdy?
Nah, man, you leave Brock Purdy out. You let the other guy get some practice because he's been horrible, absolutely horrible all year.
He hasn't had a chance.
And then do we have a quarterback controversy?
No.
Bring in Sam. Or we want Sam. We want Sam.
Kyle abandoned the run game when it was working effectively.
The only thing he does when he's behind, he abandons the run, and it ruins everything.
We abandoned Kittle. We abandoned McCaffrey. What are you doing, guys?
Yep.
That's my big complaint. Well, no Debo runs.
Maybe one Debo run.
Point. No, and we're getting the ball in the second half. We could have won this game technically, but they outplayed us this day. I think it was more about us shooting ourselves in the foot.
So Commanders just announced they're benching their starting quarterback, Sam Howell, and starting Jacoby Brissett.
Wow.
I think they're just tanking. I mean, why else would you do something like that?
Draft picks.
He started every game for them, and he's been decent. Like, he's not a great
4,000
quarterback.
yards,
He had
4,000
some really good
yards,
games. He had
25 plus
really
touchdowns.
he had really good games, but
Yeah.
he's had a lot of turnovers, and sometimes the coach is like, you know what, I want to just ride with somebody who's maybe not going to turn the ball over, and maybe they think that Jacoby Brissett is going to do that against the 49ers.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for him, we are going to turn the ball over. We're going to sack him a bunch of times. We're going to get some deflections, and we're going to get some forced fumbles. And I don't think it's going to be a close game. I think we're going to probably kill him by like this might be Mike's 50-point game against the Commanders.
That would be nice, man. Redemption.
Let's start with Washington and LA. How do you think we're going to win out and keep the number 1 seed? Are you confident that we're going to keep the number 1 seed, win out? I am.
Confident they're going to destroy Washington, although
And the
Washington
Rams?
plays us really well. The Rams have been scoring like close to 30 points a game recently for the last like 5-6 weeks.
Yeah.
The Rams can hang. The Rams gave the Ravens a hard time. I think they scored close to 30, if not 30 on the Ravens also. I don't think the Rams are a bad team, and I think that that's the team that we do not want to let into the playoffs. And the Rams season is going to come down to week 17, week 18, whatever you want to call it, against the Niners. I can tell you that right now.
Well, good point. The worst thing that happened to the Rams is that the 49ers lost this weekend, because now we have to win out. And now that last game does mean something to us.
Yeah.
So to everyone.
They were probably hoping we were going in with the number 1 seed all locked up by the last game of the season, and they could just, play their A game against a bunch of backups, because I'm sure Trent Williams wouldn't play. I'm sure Brock wouldn't play. Christian McCaffrey and George Kittle sure as hell wouldn't play. So, yeah, that might be something that they might be their demise. I don't think they're gonna win that last game. I think we have to win it.
Give us a score for Washington, and then I'll give you mine. Go ahead.
I mean, after this last stinker, and either way, I think they're going to bounce back extremely hard. There's a lot of character on this team, and this is really what's going to show you what type of a quarterback Brock Purdy really is emotionally. Are you gonna crawl down like a little beaten animal, or are you gonna you're gonna rise up to the occasion? I think he definitely has it in him to rise up. So I'm gonna say 49ers 35-14. They always
Did you say 55-14?
35.
35.
I heard him. All right. So I think that it's all going to come down to the injuries and how we shore up going into the game. Are we confident that we can run the ball? It'll come down to who's actually going to play in this game. But I think that regardless of that fact, we're pissed, and we want to show people that we are the Niners who made all those other huge wins before this game against the Ravens, and it was just kind of a Christmas fluke. And so I think that we'll be Niners 38, Washington 10.
Did I give an exact score yet?
I don't know. Go ahead and
I said
give
they're
it
going
now.
to score 50. I didn't
You
say
said
an exact
50.
score.
You didn't give an exact score.
All right.
Kind of Arango'd it.
Yeah, I think we score 52, 7 touchdowns. Jake Moody hits the longest field goal of his young career. I think he hits a 63-yarder right before half, and they score 13 points. They're just they're not going to have anything against us. Some garbage points right at the end. 52-13, 49ers heading into the last game of the season against the Rams with number 1 seed on the line.
I just hope Trent Williams is okay, guys. We need him.
You haven't won without him. And I'll tell you one thing, man. He misses an average of 3 games a year. Looking back on his career, he's missed 3 games already. I'm going to tell you right now, a groin injury is not fun. Mm-hmm. That could be. I'm not saying it is. Nobody knows just yet. Kyle Shanahan had his press conference very early today, so he wouldn't even have to talk about it. Let's leave it at that. So he sped up his press conference by 6 hours. When the information actually comes out at about 5-6 hours after that, I think he's missing another game.
Yeah. Hey, I hear a baby crying in the background from the neighbor, And it's just kind of ironic, like the way you're telling us this, and then like, that sounds like
the
me.
Niners fan.
Especially a
Baby's a
baby.
Niners fan, baby.
Hey guys, real quick. I just want to say happy birthday to Brock Purdy. 24 years old today.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice, silly
Brock
youngster.
Purdy. Yeah, we're recording this on December 27th. Yeah, December 27th.
That's
so happy birthday, Brock.
Garcia.
And it will be out by December 28th, guys.
Brock, Montana.
We're working on you being better than Steve. Let's see how it goes.
That's my quarterback, man. That's my quarterback.
I love that, man.
All right, please like and subscribe. We've got a lot of really good content for you coming up. It's going to be only available to subscribers. We need to grow this podcast, so I'm going to put a lot of shorts out, and we're going to bring you in, because once you see some of the stuff we have on tap, man, we've got some really good stuff. So like and subscribe. It's the Stick Niner Empire podcast. I'm Lucas McLaughlin, signing off with Iron Mike Arango and Lucas ORtiz. And go Niners, folks.
Go Niners.
Go Niners.